Headwear's channel for another live stream. And I'm so excited to be here today because I'm going to be talking about an alopecia related topic. So all of our social media family kind of come at it from a different angle. We love discussing wigs, of course, on our channel, but we all kind of come at it from a different perspective, which is why I love the way that we do this on René of Paris, is we kind of try to cover all grounds possible with wig wearing, hair loss, and all that, the lifestyle that goes along with it. So Danny also has worn wigs for a very long time as well, and she has a wig store, and she kind of comes at it from like more of a professional wig stylist perspective. Alexander also is a professional hairstylist, so he comes at it from that perspective, and the perspective that I come at it from is just the perspective of someone who's dealt with hair loss from a very young age. So I have alopecia, of course, which is why I'm bald, and I have had alopecia since the age of 2 years old. So my hair started falling out around the age of 2 or 3, and it started out with little patches, and then over time it kind of ended up falling out completely. And ever since then, it's just kind of stayed about the same. Hello, welcome to the live stream today. So today's topic, for anyone just joining, is going to be about selecting wigs for alopecia. And I really love talking about this topic because I get a lot of questions from people on a regular basis about this. Alopecia can kind of come up at any age. For me, it came up at a young age. For some people, it comes up later in life. But no matter when it comes up, it can seem really daunting at first trying to figure out the solution. And the first thing I want to say is that the solution is not necessarily wigs for everybody. There's going to be a different thing for each person that makes them feel the most comfortable and the most confident. And some people choose to just shave their head and rock the bald head all the time, and that's an amazing look. I love rocking the bald head look a lot. Some people are more comfortable going the wig route. And then even that has a lot of different options, because you can choose to wear one wig style and kind of let that be your hair, and you just kind of wear the same style, same color every single day. If you're not comfortable talking about wearing wigs or talking about alopecia or your hair loss, that's perfectly valid. And then there's people that just wear wigs and they change it up every single day, from like a blue hairstyle to brunette to blonde. And so I'm going to talk about my personal story and how I deal with wearing wigs in my own life and which one of those categories I fall into, how it's evolved for me over the years, and then of course the biggest thing I'm going to focus on for this video is giving you advice on the features that I look for in a wig that I think are best for a go-to daily wear wig for alopecia. Now, if you're familiar with my page, my name is Abby Andrew. So my Instagram is abbyandrew.yt. And if you follow me on there, then you know that I wear a different wig style pretty much on a daily basis. I'm changing it up all the time. So for me, I don't necessarily need all of these features that I'm going to discuss in a wig for it to be a wig that I still will wear daily. They're just things that if you are someone that maybe is just going to select one wig that you want to wear daily, these are the features that I would suggest for that kind of go-to daily wear wig. Now, even though I do switch up my wigs very regularly, I still like to have my go-to wig that I have, and what I mean by that is some days I wake up and I want to wear blue hair and I want to pick an outfit that matches it, and I just want to dress really over the top and I want to really put thought into it. And then there's days where I'm waking up, running out the door to work within half an hour, and I don't want to think about the wig choice, so it's just the wig that I grab to run out the door, and I know it's going to be absolutely zero hassle. So even now that I switch up wigs all the time, I still like to have a go-to wig in my collection at all times. So I do have a bunch of wigs here that I'm going to show. Some of them have been my go-to wig over the years, especially before I started switching up wigs on a regular basis, and I'm going to show all of those, as well as some of my other favorites too. So I think I'm just going to kind of go in chronological order for the wigs that have been my go-to wig over the years. So the wig that I'm going to start with is Cody from Amore, which I have right here. This is in the color Creamy Blonde. Now, this wig will always hold a very special place in my heart because it was the first wig that I started to wear regularly that really felt just like proper quality, but it was also really comfortable and easy and natural looking, and it was the first wig that really felt like my hair in my entire wig experience ever. So, like I said before, I lost my hair when I was about 2. I started wearing wigs regularly around the age of 7 years old. And between 7 and maybe I would say probably 11 or 12, it was mostly my parents helping me choose the wigs that I would wear, but none of us really knew what we were doing. I think it's so amazing with social media now that there's so many resources available online between we make our YouTube videos and our Instagram live streams trying to spread this information, but there's just countless other social media accounts, like YouTube channels and Instagram accounts here on so many people that we've brought on as guests and stuff that talk about these topics and how to find a wig if you are losing your hair. But back then there wasn't really these resources available as readily. So I was like 11 years old, 7 to 11. I didn't really know how to choose a proper wig for myself. My parents didn't really know what they were doing either. So for a little while, it was just kind of like trial and error. And then finally, when I was about 11 or 12 years old, I went to a wig store in person, and the woman who worked there really helped me to find the right wig for me. And she introduced me to so many features that I now continue to, still to this day, I look for in a go-to wig. And the wig that I left the store with that day was a Cody wig from Amore, which is so funny because now, of course, you guys know me as the one of the social media spokespeople for René of Paris, and of course that was not the case at the time. So I was wearing Amore wigs since the age of about 11 or 12 years old, and for between the age of about 12 to the age of about 18, my go-to wig was Cody. So this wig, like I was saying, will always hold a special place in my heart, and it will also kind of feel like my hair. Now, I don't wear this wig as often anymore just because I have so many wigs in my collection that I wear. I'm always cycling through them. I kind of go through like a phase with the wig. I'll fall in love with the wig for a bit and then I'll wear that for a couple weeks and then I'll switch to a different one for a few weeks. And I think I just pulled this out of my collection to show it for this video, but I think I just like rekindled that for myself. So you're probably gonna see me wearing this a lot on my Instagram for the next little bit. But this was my first go-to wig ever. This was my hair. And what a lot of people who knew me in that phase of my life, this is like what their mental image of me would be, because this is a wig that I always wore. Now, part of the reason this was the wig that the woman who worked at the wig salon helped me pick out was for a couple of reasons, and they're still the reasons that I'm going to say I think you should look for if you're looking for a go-to wig for hair loss or alopecia. For one thing, I really wanted a short length wig because I just found it really easy to manage, especially at that age. I was a young girl at the time, so I couldn't really be expected to do any sort of hair maintenance whatsoever because you're just a kid, you're running around. But the good thing about a short wig is that it doesn't really get tangly easily, so you can, and this applies for adults too. If you want like something low maintenance, short wigs are so easy because they don't tangle super easily. Not that long wigs tangle more easily than like your own hair, but just long hair in general will tangle more easily than short hair, because with short hair there's just like nothing here to tangle, if that makes sense. So like this wig, I can shake my head, I can run around. Even now as an adult, like if I'm doing something, a more physical activity, I like to have short wigs, and this wig definitely meets all those marks. The big thing that she introduced me to that day, however, was monofilament wig caps. Now what that is all that means is that it just kind of allows you to change the part around, and as you change the part, it just has a very natural looking scalp look. So even though this is a wig, it just looks like my own hair peeking through, or my own scalp peeking through. And that also gives you a lot of styling flexibility as well. So if you want to change the part to the other side, you can still have that very natural looking scalp effect. I also really liked at the time, and still now, that this wig has kind of like a side bang, so the hairline is covered, so you don't have to worry about the hairline looking realistic because it's just covered anyway. Now I will show some lace front wigs later because that's another feature that's like an optional feature that might be good for if you want a hairstyle that you can push back. But in my opinion, when selecting a wig for alopecia or hair loss and you just want something minimal effort, I find that you don't even need a lace front. If you have a bang or a side bang, it just covers that hairline, so you don't even have to think twice about it if it's going to look natural because it's covered anyway. And I just find that so simple and easy. So again, Cody in Creamy Blonde was my go-to wig from the age of 11 to 18. And at the time, I didn't want anybody to know that I had alopecia. I didn't want anybody to know it was a wig. And honestly, it worked well for that because it was so realistic looking that nobody that saw me would think it was a wig. So just to give a quick recap of what I've already discussed is the monofilament wig cap. I didn't show what that looked like from the inside before, so I'll go ahead and do that now. Monofilament in general will give you that really natural looking scalp look on the scalp of the wig, so it looks like your own scalp peeking through, which is a really realistic looking feature, and I think like a must-have, in my opinion, for like an easy, realistic looking wig. But then a great feature as well is the double monofilament wig cap, which you can find in a lot of Amore Collection wigs. This isn't a Amore Collection wig. This is Cody from Amore, like I was saying before, in the color Creamy Blonde. Now, double monofilament, all that is it's a second layer of monofilament on top of the other layer, but that just gives you an extra layer of added comfort so that it's just super comfortable, intended specifically for people who are wearing it on their bald head. So as you can see, I'm not wearing these wigs with a wig cap. And that is a question that I get a lot as well, is if I wear a wig cap, because wig caps can be good for if you have your own hair and you want to just kind of hold it back to put the wig on top of. And some people who have no hair also still choose to wear a wig cap for other reasons, but you don't need to wear a wig cap with these because they stay secure without it and they're really comfortable without it as well. And that's what the double monofilament feature allows for, is if you do have more of a sensitive scalp, you can still wear it on your head and have it be really comfortable. I was also mentioning how shorter wigs are just really easy and manageable. So a lot of times when I'm looking for a go-to wig that I just want to be able to throw on and have it be super easy and manageable, and I don't even have to think twice about if it's going to look good or anything, I like short wigs for that because I feel like you barely even have to brush them and they still look really good and easy. Like, just with longer wigs, you might have to do a slightly more maintenance to them, just maybe brushing them out a little bit more often, whereas with a short wig, I feel like it takes so much for this to get tangly looking, and then even then, the process to brush it out is so easy and quick, and then you're good to go. So I like having a short wig as my go-to wig that when I wake up in the morning and then I have to run out the door to work, I can just throw it on, not even look in the mirror, and I can trust that it's going to look good. Now, I showed this before in the other live stream clip before it cut off, but just to quickly show, if you're just joining now, that is what the monofilament wig cap looks like on top. Is no matter how you change the hair part, it still looks like your own scalp peeking through, so it's very, very realistic looking. Now, there are lots of other wig caps, and there's benefits to all of the different wig caps, so I would definitely recommend looking into all the different types to see what's best for you. We do have a video on our YouTube channel talking about the different wig caps and the pros of each and why you would choose each one. So definitely check that out if you are interested in learning more about the different wig caps. But for me personally, what I looked for growing up and throughout my life is I often like to have, at least for my go-to daily wear wig, I like to have a double monofilament cap, especially like from the Amore Collection, because they're just so comfortable and so realistic looking on the scalp, and they give you that styling flexibility of being able to change the part. Now, I think this is what I was talking about right before I got cut off, is that when I was in high school age and younger, I was very self-conscious about my alopecia, to the point where I remember, this is so crazy for me to think back on because I am so much more confident talking about my alopecia now, but for anyone who has alopecia and you maybe feel more insecure about it and you don't really want anyone to know, and maybe you want to work on your alopecia confidence, but you don't know how, and it just seems really daunting. I just want you to know that I have not always been so confident with my alopecia. During high school age, I could not say the word alopecia without tearing up, and I don't know how it got to that point where I was so self-conscious about it that if I even said the word out loud, I would tear up because it would just make me so nervous because I just did not want anyone to know about it. I never wanted people to see me without a wig, and I would only wear the same wig style and same color so everyone would just think that was my hair. And I really wanted to be open about it. I just had no idea how to get to that point. Now I'm going to pull out the wig that then became my next go-to wig, because then this was my go-to wig for a couple years after that before I got really comfortable switching it up. So let me just pull that one out. When I went off to college, I kind of used that as an opportunity to change my hairstyle drastically. So I still wasn't completely ready to be so open about alopecia and have everybody know about it, but at least I knew I was going to a place where nobody knew me already, so I could just have a drastically different hairstyle and not have to explain it, if that makes sense. Because people didn't know me as Blonde Abby, so I just kind of used that opportunity to change it drastically. And that is when Tatum from Amore became my go-to wig. Now, these two wigs, I think, like, forever will be my favorite go-to wigs that I would recommend to anyone who is, like, maybe just losing their hair and doesn't know what to get. These are just, like, my ultimate favorites of all time for that purpose. And it's for similar reasons. First of all, they both have that shorter length that I just find very easy to manage. They both have a bang or a side bang. So Tatum has a bang. And a lot of times when I wear Tatum, I actually do kind of brush it to the side and treat it like a side bang, because I think that looks really nice, but you can wear it either way. So the benefit of a bang or a side bang is that the hairline is covered, so it just looks very natural no matter what. And again, we do have the option of lace front for that really realistic looking hairline if you do want to pull the hair back, and I will show a wig with lace front in just a moment. But the reason I like wigs with bangs or side bangs is that you don't even have to think twice about it because it's covered anyway, so you just know for sure it's not going to even be a question that it looks natural. And again, Tatum also has that double monofilament hairline, so wig caps, so you have the very realistic looking hairline as well, and the ability to change the part. So yeah, again, the Amore collection is specifically designed for people who do have hair loss, for the wigs to be extra comfortable with the double monofilament wig cap, extra natural looking with the monofilament on top. And there's just so many great styles in that collection, so if you don't necessarily like these, or maybe you want a longer style, there's great options there as well. But these are just the ones that I wore for many years. So from the age of about 18 to maybe like 20, this was my go-to wig, and probably a bit after that too. But 20s to 21 is about when I started to switch it up a lot more often. So then a whole bunch of other wigs came into the picture. Whereas before that, I never switched up wigs, and even just wearing a different wig out of the house made me so nervous. I can't even tell you. If you can relate to this, definitely comment below your experience, because I love being able to share stories with people on here, but it is so crazy to think back on now. Now that I change wigs like literally multiple times a day, I change my wig. But back then, if I went from like a short brunette wig to a long brunette wig and I left my dorm, because I was in college at the time, my heart would be pounding out of my chest. It was like my vision was blurry. Like, it's so dramatic to think of now, but that's how nervous it made me to change wigs back in the day. So if you are at that point and you want to get used to changing up wigs more often, you can do it. So it might be scary at first, but I have faith in you that you're able to do it if you want to. And again, that's only if you want to, because everyone's wig wearing experience is different. If you're someone that wants to have your one go-to wig that you wear daily and you're comfortable with that and you don't want to switch it up, that is so valid and that's perfect. And like, there are so many great options for you if that's what you want to do. And again, Tatum and Cody, I always have to give shout outs to as the wigs that were my go-to wigs for so many years. But at the same time, if you are nervous about switching up wigs and you want to get yourself to that point, but you're just scared to, I just want you to know that it's not impossible and you can definitely get there, because now I want to show you some of the wigs that I started to switch up to. So, like I was saying, I change wigs like so drastically from day to day, but back then if I even switched to a longer wig, that scared me because I knew it would kind of cause people to ask me questions when I got to class and stuff. So the way I kind of slowly started to test the waters of switching up wigs was to get a wig in a similar color, similar style, but just a longer length. So I got myself a Stevie from Amore at that time, and I got it in a similar color. I had a Tatum in probably the same color, and then this. Now, Stevie is another wig that I would recommend as a fantastic go-to wig for alopecia or hair loss. That is also from the Amore collection and has the same kind of monofilament features that I've been talking about, but it is good if you want a longer style. So here's my Stevie. A lot of these wigs that I'm going to show in this video are like a little bit more worn. Not a lot. This is still in great shape, of course, but I just want to mention that because these are some of my favorite wigs that I'm showing, so they are wigs that I wear very often. And for those that don't know, synthetic wigs do have a lifespan, so if you're wearing it daily, I would say it would last about 4 to 6 months, and then you probably would have to replace it with the same one if you want to keep the same style. But so to kind of test the waters and get myself comfortable switching wigs more often, I was slowly starting to open up about telling people in my life that I had alopecia, but was still nervous to switch wigs up often. So similar style, longer length. I love Stevie. This is one that I've been wearing a lot lately. Like, this is probably my current go-to wig. Although I think after pulling all these wigs out for this video, it might become Cody for a little bit again because I really love Cody right now. But this is my Stevie. So again, that's a really great way if you do want to get yourself to a point where you're comfortable switching up wigs more often. Maybe like do a trial run with a wig that is either the same color but a different length. or maybe the same style in a different color. So you're only changing one factor at a time just to kind of get yourself used to switching up wigs. But again, this is a fantastic wig for a go-to wig for alopecia because it has that double monofilament, natural looking scalp, very comfortable on the inside. And this is also nice. It's nice to have a long wig sometimes because you can do a little bit more styling with it if you want to. You can kind of like put it in braids, put it in pigtails, put it in a ponytail. You can with those other wigs that I showed before, you can to an extent, but because they are shorter, that you can't really do as much with them. So I do have a lot of fun. I love putting this wig in braids specifically. I think I just posted an Instagram story earlier with this wig in braids because I just think it looks so cute like that. But where the fun really started to come in, and this is what I would recommend if you are someone who is just starting to lose your hair. Again, there's different solutions for everybody. Some people choose to just shave their head completely and rock the shaved head look, and like I was saying before, I love doing that sometimes too, and I think it's a really great look. And if you don't want to go the route of wearing wigs, that is totally valid and awesome too. And I just want you to know that you look beautiful no matter what you choose to do, and different things work for everybody. And again, if you are just starting to lose your hair, then I would definitely recommend following a bunch of other people going through the same thing here on Instagram, because it's just so nice to see other people going through the same thing. There's not a lot of bald women that you see in media or on TV shows or anything, so to kind of surround yourself on social media with people who look like you or are dealing with the same thing, I think it was just really eye-opening for me to see so many people thriving and living their best lives and looking amazing and beautiful that are rocking the bald head or rocking different wigs. It is just really nice to kind of see that kind of positivity online, and it helps you normalize it. Because it can be scary at first to start losing your hair, but there are some kind of benefits to it as well. I have to say that now that I switch up wigs all the time, I would not have it any other way. I would almost I don't even necessarily want my hair to grow back, and if for some reason it did one day, I would still wear wigs every day because I don't ever want to give up being able to change my hair that often. And now that I have embraced that side of it, for me personally, it is just become such a fun part of my life. And once I started to do that, and once I started to become more open talking about alopecia, I feel like it was just such a huge weight off of my chest. Because back in the day when I did keep it a secret, I felt like I kept such close tabs on who knew my secret, who have I told yet. If I met a new friend, I'd be thinking okay, when can I tell them I have alopecia? That's how much of a big secret I built it up to be in my mind. Whereas now it's just such a huge weight off my chest that I talk about it openly on social media. Pretty much everyone in my life knows that I wear wigs and am bald, and it's just, I decided I didn't want to hide it anymore, so. But just to give a quick recap of what I've talked about so far, the features that I like to look for in a wig for alopecia, for hair loss, for a daily go-to wig are, I like to have a shorter length. Personally, for me, if I'm just choosing one wig that I want to have as my go-to wig, I do like to have a straight style wig because curly wigs are so beautiful and amazing, but they do take slightly more kind of maintenance. Not a lot. It's actually very, very easy to maintain curls once you know how, and we do have a video on our YouTube channel about how to do it. So if you do like curly hair, then you can totally do that as well and make it really easy and manageable. But for me, before I learned how to care for curly wigs, straight wigs were just easier to deal with because you didn't have to worry about maintaining the curls. You could just brush out the hair and it was the same difference. But if you do want a curly style, just know that it is very easy to maintain once you know how. What I also like about synthetic wigs is if you do want to have curly hair sometimes, or just, this is what I love about wearing wigs in general, if you want to have straight hair most days, but then some days you want to have a curly style, all you have to do is just switch to a similar style that happens to have curls. So you don't have to go through the process of curling your hair, you can just have curly hair. Hi Alexander! Alexander's one of our other social media spokespeople on here, and he just asked, what is your top tip for curly wigs? Now, the biggest thing that I would recommend is, I have a curly wig here that I'm going to grab, because I am going to start going into, once I started switching up wigs more often, that's when I started to have so much fun with colors, and I have been loving some of these new René of Paris colors that have been coming out over the last few years, because when I was younger, I could have only dreamed that my favorite wig companies would start making colors like this, and now that they exist, I'm like, how is this real life? This is amazing. So I will switch to this curly wig just to talk about, really quickly, how to maintain curly hairstyles. Just put put this on. This one has a really nice realistic looking lace front as well. This is Envious in Royal Emerald from the Orchid Collection. This is one of my favorite colors ever, and this wig just makes me feel so cool. Okay, I love this. But the thing that I like to use for maintaining curls is Revive Liquid Enhancement, which is a René of Paris synthetic wig product. I do recommend using products that are designed for synthetic hair. We have synthetic shampoo and conditioner, we have synthetic hairspray, but then this Revive spray was such a game changer when I discovered it because it fixes so many little wig things that you might need that come up as you wear wigs. And the biggest thing is with curly wigs, if you want to just kind of like fluff up the curls a little bit, just a slight spritz, just a little tiny bit of it. And then, for example, you can like take one curl and focus on one curl at a time and just kind of like redo it. Or if you just want to give it like a slight little fluffing, you can just kind of just use your fingers, put the spray, and just kind of go like this, and it just kind of helps the curls look a little bit more bouncy again. So yeah, again, we do have a whole video on our YouTube channel about maintaining curly wigs, and I go into a lot more of these specific steps in that video, so if you do want to learn more about maintaining curls. It's so funny because a long time ago when I was young, I tried to get a curly wig when I was maybe like 10 or 11 years old or something, and I just did not know how to maintain it. But once I learned how to take care of curls, it was so easy. Like, I was always so intimidated by curly wigs, but in reality, like just having the spray alone, and also not brushing it out straight through with the brush because that can kind of get the curls to look a little bit poofy and frizzy. But using a wide tooth comb is really helpful, and just kind of taking the wide tooth comb and combing through one curl at a time. Even just using your fingers to comb through is a better alternative than just going straight in and brushing it. But yeah, so once I started to change up wigs daily, this is where I started to really have fun with it. And this is a feature I was mentioning before called lace front. If you're not familiar with it, that just gives you the really realistic looking hairline as well. So if you want to be able to have a wig that you can kind of pull back, the way it's designed is so it looks like the wig is coming right out of your scalp. So the wigs I was mentioning before, those didn't have lace front, but they don't necessarily need it either because that hairstyle with bangs, it's covering the scalp anyway, so you don't even have to worry about the hairline. But if you do want the option to have styles that you can kind of pull back and have it still look natural, then lace front is a great option for that. I'm gonna grab these last two wigs that I was gonna show. I don't know why I put them so far away from myself, but I have them here now. This here is another one of my favorite styles and colors, and it is so cute. This also I feel like would classify as a great daily wear wig. This is a Kai from René of Paris. So while Amore is a style that is designed specifically for people with hair loss, you don't need to only get Amore wigs if you have hair loss. You can still look at the different lines and have the different options, because there's the things that I'm mentioning as good things for alopecia and hair loss aren't necessities. It just really is up to your preference. So I would definitely recommend learning about different wig caps, different hairlines and parts. Like this again has the lace front. This is a lace front with a lace part. So it's not monofilament, but it still has that really natural looking hairline because of the lace part. So there are other options as well besides the ones I'm discussing. So this one here, this also fits the other things that I mentioned of being a short straight wig. I just think short straight wigs are the easiest wigs to manage and maintain because they don't tangle quickly, or pretty much in my opinion they practically like never tangle unless you're wearing it for like weeks on end without brushing it. Then eventually you might have to brush it, but I feel like I could just throw this on, not even look in a mirror, and I know it's gonna look cute, neat, and just really easy. This color, by the way, is Melted Ocean, and this is also one of my favorite colors too. Like this is just so fun. But this wig is also available in natural looking colors too, so if you are looking for a go-to daily wear wig, this is also available in like the standard blondes and brunettes that we have as our other part of our collection. But I would totally wear this as a daily wear wig in this color too, because I just think this is so cute. And then another one I have here is, I was talking about the lace front and lace part. This one has the part on the side. So with that, you can't really change the part as easily because it's not going to have the lace on the other side. But then you can also just look for the type of part that you're looking for. So this is actually a pretty similar style. This is Posh from the Orchid Collection, and it has a kind of similar cut, but the part is actually in the middle. So if you are getting a lace front, lace part wig, just make sure the part is the kind of part that you like, on the side that you like it to be on. But yeah, similar style, but with the part in the middle. And again, so something if I would recommend is if you are starting to lose your hair from alopecia and you're not really sure what to do and you just feel really worried and self-conscious about it and you are thinking about getting wigs, and maybe you want to find a wig that is similar to the way your hair looked before it started to fall out, and there are so many great options for that. I would suggest probably looking at the Amore Collection, all the different styles there. You can view them on reneofparis.com, you can view the whole catalog there. And there's so many different options in that collection. You could probably find something very similar to whatever your hairstyle was before, as well as the color. But if you are able, I think it's a really fun option as well to get the wig that you think looks just like your hair as it was falling out to kind of help transition you into wigs, but then also get a wig that is a style that you never would have tried before, because it's just such a fun opportunity to switch up styles and kind of embrace the positives about alopecia and hair loss. And I know for someone who's just losing their hair, it probably seems like there's no positives, and I probably sound crazy even mentioning that, but I am so happy that having alopecia introduced me to wigs and switching up hairstyles all the time, because now it's just such a fundamental part of who I am as a person and such a fundamental part of my style. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I'm like, what am I gonna wear today? And I pick the wig first and then pick the outfit based on the wig style. So they're really just like an accessory to me at this point. So while it might seem scary at first, I think it's just really fun to embrace the exciting parts about wearing wigs and getting to change up your hairstyle all the time. Now again, there's too many topics to get into in just one live stream. I do want to mention that if you're looking for any more detailed explanations of any of the things I've discussed, we have YouTube videos for pretty much all of these different topics. If you want to go to our YouTube channel, René of Paris, there's one video that we have that talks about the benefits of wearing human hair wigs versus synthetic wigs, because I didn't even really discuss human hair wigs in this video, but that's probably the first thing you're going to want to figure out when you're selecting a wig for the very first time, is if you want human hair or synthetic. And there are benefits to both. As you can see, I wear a lot of synthetic wigs because they're so easy and they hold their style with very minimal maintenance. So I like synthetic wigs for that reason, because they're just zero hassle. But if you do want human hair, there's a lot of really great options for that as well. And if you want human hair, I would recommend checking out our Fair Fashion collection. But definitely check out the video on our channel about the pros of each, because it really is up to personal preference which one you want to end up going with. And then there's the question of wig caps. Again, if you're brand new to wigs and you want something that's just going to be super comfortable and natural, I really love the double monofilament wig cap from the Amore Collection. So if you don't want to bother researching more, then I think that's a safe route to go. But we also do have a video on our channel about the different wig caps and to figure out which one is best for you. And if you do have any other questions as well, I know I covered a lot in this video, definitely comment them below and we can make more videos going into depth, even in more detail about any of these topics. But again, if you are losing your hair and you're going to go the wig route, there are so many resources available online at this point to help you choose the wig that is best for you. And we are more than happy to help walk you through that process. And if you're having a hard time with either selecting a wig or even just with the experience of your hair falling out, always feel free to message me personally on my own Instagram, which is just abbyandrew.yt. And I'm so happy to just listen to you vent about the experience or to help you just answer more specific questions about wigs. I'm so able to just kind of like be there for you as you're going through it, because I think losing your hair can also be a very isolating experience if you don't know anyone else going through the same thing. So definitely embrace the incredible alopecia and wig community here on Instagram and other social media platforms, because there's so many of us, and every single day I find a new account on here that inspires me so much. I will never cease to be inspired by the other fellow alopecians and wig wearers that I see on here, and it's just such a fantastic, supportive, encouraging community, and any one of them would probably have their inboxes open to questions if you ever need advice. So not just me, but so many other people in this community. And thank you all so much for watching. Again, if you're watching this later, you can always watch our live streams later on in our IGTV. So if you miss this live stream or you miss any of our live streams, you can always go back and rewatch them on our IGTV on René of Paris. And again, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Bye!